God says, "My beloved child, I need you to pause and listen to the gentle whisper echoing within your spirit right now, because it is not a coincidence, it is not your imagination, and it is certainly not your mind playing tricks on you. This profoundly sacred message has been dispatched from the highest courts of heaven to reach you at this exact, predetermined second because the time for confusion has officially expired. I am stepping into your atmosphere today to shatter the heavy, suffocating illusion that you have been forced to carry for far too long. Listen to me with the absolute core of your being. You are entirely, unequivocally innocent. The agonizing punishment you suffered, the brutal betrayal you faced, the countless tears you cried in the dark, and the crushing weight of guilt you have carried were never, ever because of your failure, your mistakes, or your perceived weaknesses. You have spent years walking through a thick fog of self-doubt, constantly questioning your own worth, relentlessly analyzing every word you spoke, and tearing your own heart apart trying to figure out what you did wrong to deserve such cold, callous treatment from the people you loved the most. You have been harshly judged, unfairly questioned, maliciously doubted, and deeply misunderstood by individuals who never possessed the spiritual depth or the genuine desire to actually understand the beautiful purity of your heart. You have been surrounded by broken, insecure people who desperately tried to force their own dark shadows upon your brilliant, God-given light. And through all of this relentless emotional and spiritual warfare, you actually convinced yourself that you were being divinely punished. You thought that because your path was so incredibly difficult, because the doors kept slamming in your face, and because the people you trusted kept walking away, it must mean that something was fundamentally wrong with you. You thought that if you had just been a little bit quieter, a little bit more accommodating, or a little bit less yourself, maybe they would have stayed. Maybe they would have loved you. But God is declaring over your life today that this is the absolute biggest, most destructive lie that the enemy ever managed to plant in your weary mind. You were never being punished because you were inadequate. You were punished for one incredibly shocking, hidden reason that you were never meant to discover on your own, a reason that your pure heart simply could not comprehend at the time. You were punished because your spirit is dangerously powerful. Your divine destiny is far too heavily protected. Your heavenly calling is far too precious, and your radiant energy operates at a frequency that is utterly terrifying to those who have chosen to live in darkness. They punished you because they were absolutely paralyzed by the sheer magnitude of the anointing that God has placed upon your life. Long before you even understood your own strength, long before you even recognized the spiritual gifts blooming inside of you, they sensed your massive potential. The attacks launched against your character, your peace, and your stability were never actually personal. They were entirely, aggressively spiritual. Heaven has been intimately watching this entire narrative unfold from the very beginning. I saw the horribly unfair treatment you quietly endured. I witnessed the sudden, chilling shifts in people's behavior toward you. I felt the freezing coldness emanating from those who once warmly claimed to care for your soul. I recorded the unexplained losses, the vicious gossip, and the heart-wrenching betrayal that burned like a raging fire in your chest. Absolutely none of it escaped my sovereign sight. You felt completely abandoned. You felt entirely alone, like a solitary soldier left on a massive battlefield with no one to defend your honor. You thought heaven was silent, but the breathtaking truth is that heaven was quietly, aggressively rearranging the entire spiritual atmosphere behind the scenes. You did not actually lose anything of genuine value. You were being fiercely protected. You were not being pushed away. You were being intentionally redirected by the hand of the Almighty. You were never forgotten. You were being hidden in the secret place of the Most High while the storm raged outside. The people who inflicted those deep, aching wounds upon your soul did so because your very existence acts as a massive, glaring spotlight on their own unresolved trauma and hidden wickedness. Your natural, effortless kindness highlighted their deeply rooted cruelty. Your fierce, unwavering loyalty exposed their inherent dishonesty. Your gentle, forgiving nature irritated the bitter, resentful demons they refused to fight within themselves. When you walked into a room, carrying the undeniable favor and grace of heaven, they felt an immediate, overwhelming sense of intimidation. Instead of allowing your light to inspire them to heal and grow, they made a conscious, sinister decision to try and completely extinguish your flame. They wanted to see you break. They desperately wanted to watch you fail, because your failure would somehow validate their own miserable choices. They orchestrated situations to make you look like the villain, twisting the narrative with masterful manipulation so that they could comfortably play the victim while you carried the excruciating burden of the blame. They whispered your name in secret circles, planting toxic seeds of doubt in the minds of others, actively trying to construct invisible walls that would isolate you from the support and love you so richly deserved. And the most heartbreaking part of it all is that your beautiful, gentle soul actually absorbed their toxic projections. You apologized for things you never did. You repeatedly shrank your own magnificent presence just to make their fragile egos feel more comfortable. You poured your precious, limited energy into deeply flawed connections, desperately trying to prove your worth to individuals who were spiritually blind and entirely incapable of recognizing a masterpiece even when it was standing right in front of them. You forgave them time and time again, offering them the kind of pure, unconditional grace that they could never, ever replicate. But despite all their calculated efforts, despite the massive emotional toll it took on your physical body and your mental health, they fundamentally failed to break your spirit because the Creator of the universe had already securely anchored your soul. As they eagerly prepared to strike what they believed would be the final, devastating blow to your confidence and your future, I stepped violently into the center of their malicious plans with a blinding force of divine justice that completely paralyzed their intentions. They honestly believed that they held the final, ultimate authority over your destiny, severely underestimating the fierce, protective, and unrelenting love of a heavenly Father defending his incredibly precious, chosen child. The very moment they reached out their greedy, manipulative hands to permanently finalize the theft of your joy and the destruction of your reputation, my elite warring angels violently descended upon their hidden camps. I completely stripped your enemies of their earthly influence in the dark spiritual authority over your life. I intentionally confused their communication, entirely dismantled their toxic networks, and masterfully turned their own malicious traps directly against them. Every single fabricated lie they whispered about you behind closed doors to justify their cruel behavior has now been forcefully dragged into the blinding, undeniable light of truth. You must realize how deeply and passionately I advocate for your soul, especially in the rooms where your physical presence is completely absent. While you were tossing and turning in your bed, desperately crying yourself to sleep with heavy, suffocating anxiety about your broken relationships and your uncertain future, I was actively, aggressively canceling the spiritual debts, the dark curses, and the artificial limitations they tried to permanently attach to your sacred name. While you were begging for just a tiny ounce of basic human decency and a modest breakthrough just to survive the week, I was firmly securing a massive, generational fortress of absolute peace for your entire lineage. Your enemies desperately wanted to leave you wandering in the wilderness forever, perpetually doubting yourself, perpetually apologizing for your existence, perpetually feeling like an unwanted, burdensome guest in this world. But my sovereign, unshakable decree over your life is that you shall unequivocally be the head and not the tail, a victorious conqueror and not a defeated victim, a radiant beacon of truth and not a prisoner of their lies. I need you to completely fundamentally shift the way you view the brutal rejections and the painful isolation you have recently endured. You were not being punished, you were being fiercely, intentionally protected by the hand of the Almighty. The agonizing distance that suddenly grew between you and the people you deeply loved was not an accident, and it was certainly not a reflection of your inadequacy. It was a divine, surgical extraction. I deliberately removed certain individuals from your immediate orbit because they absolutely did not have the spiritual capacity, the emotional maturity, or the genuine purity of heart required to handle the breathtaking magnitude of the blessings I am about to pour out upon you. If I had allowed them to stay in your inner circle, they would have maliciously contaminated your harvest. They would have actively drained your new anointing, manipulated your sudden elevation, and toxically tried to claim credit for the miraculous work that I am doing in your life. The intense isolation you felt, the lonely weekends, the silent phone, the overwhelming feeling that you were entirely on your own, that was not a punishment from a cruel universe. That was a sacred, divine incubator. I was hiding you in the secret place of the Most High. I was pulling you away from the chaotic, draining noise of the constant demands so that you could finally learn how to clearly hear my still, small voice without the toxic interference. The very people who punished you, who completely shut you out and treated you with such cold, calculated unfairness, actually ended up doing you the greatest possible favor. They unknowingly pushed you directly into the safe, impenetrable arms of divine protection. They thought they were burying you under the heavy dirt of their false accusations and the bitter gossip, but they had absolutely no idea that you were a rare, divine seed planted by the Creator of the universe. The intense, crushing pressure they applied to your life was the exact precise pressure required to beautifully transform you into an unbreakable diamond of faith. Your incredible kindness is absolutely not your weakness, it is your ultimate superpower. Your fierce, unwavering loyalty is not a fatal flaw, it is a magnificent, rare blessing that heaven highly honors. Your gentle innocence is not a naive vulnerability to be exploited. It is your permanent, radiant divine identity that deeply terrifies the forces of darkness. My precious, beloved child, if you can physically feel the heavy, suffocating chains of false guilt and manufactured shame violently falling off your weary mind right in this very moment, if your beautiful spirit is deeply, profoundly resonating with this prophetic truth, and you know beyond the shadow of a doubt that I am speaking directly to your situation today, I gently and lovingly invite you to subscribe to this channel and become a permanent, cherished part of this divinely appointed family. By choosing to stay connected to this specific community, you are making a powerful, undeniable prophetic declaration to the spiritual realm that you are absolutely ready to walk in the blazing light of truth, completely free from the dark, manipulating shadows of your past. You are intentionally aligning your spirit with a safe, sacred place where your soul will be continuously fed, fiercely protected, and overwhelmingly uplifted. Do not attempt to navigate this heavy, beautiful season of profound transition entirely alone. Let us walk closely together as I continue to pour out my breathtaking revelations, my soothing comfort, and my unbreakable, eternal promises over your life every single day. Every single time you return to hear my voice, another layer of that cruel deception is permanently destroyed, and another massive blessing is unlocked. Now, I command the paralyzing spirit of fear, the lingering self-doubt, and the toxic echo of their cruel words to permanently leave your mind right now in the name of absolute divine authority. You must completely stop entertaining the lie that you are somehow at fault for the brokenness of others. The shocking reason they punished you was simply because you naturally carry a massive generational destiny that deeply threatens the carefully constructed plans of those who operate in deceit. They clearly saw your limitless potential long before you were even ready to walk in it. They recognized your incredible spiritual gifts long before you even believed in them yourself. They saw your undeniable, miraculous ability to rise from the ashes long before you ever discovered your own inner strength. And instead of doing the hard, painful work to heal their own souls and grow alongside you, they cowardly chose to try and stop your ascension. They tried to artificially delay your incoming blessings. They tried to aggressively silence your vibrant spirit. They tried to deliberately confuse your sharp, beautiful mind. But their sinister plans have officially, completely, and permanently failed. The sovereign God of the universe has absolutely overruled every single curse they tried to place upon your life. I have permanently stationed a massive, terrifying legion of elite warrior angels, directly commanded by Archangel Michael himself, to stand guard at the four corners of your mind, your physical home, and your divine destiny. Their flaming swords are fully drawn, and they are engulfed in protective heavenly fire. No demonic force, no jealous former friend, no deceitful relative, and absolutely no weapon of the enemy can cross the powerful bloodline that I have permanently drawn around your life. The people who desperately tried to steal your joy and punish you for your innocence are now trembling. They are being forced to watch from a very uncomfortable distance as my heavy, undeniable favor begins to rest brightly upon you, and they are completely, utterly powerless to stop it. As the angels begin to aggressively clear your path and rewrite the spiritual energy around your future, prepare your heart to receive the breathtaking reality that you are stepping completely out of the suffocating darkness of their false judgments and stepping boldly into a breathtaking, undeniable season of profound divine reversal. Every single thing that was maliciously stolen from your physical hands, every precious relationship that was deceitfully broken by their toxic whispers, every massive financial opportunity that was artificially delayed by their plotting, and every single ounce of peace that was violently ripped from your gentle spirit is currently being miraculously restored to you with overflowing, supernatural interest. I am officially declaring that the brutal season of your silent suffering has permanently come to an end. The heavy, agonizing season of unfair punishment is completely over. The incredibly painful season of hidden truths and manipulative lies is violently breaking apart right now, just like a fragile, cracked shell finally shattering to aggressively reveal the blinding, magnificent light residing within. I want you to clearly visualize the heavy scales of heavenly justice actively tipping entirely in your favor today. You are confidently stepping into a glorious, unprecedented season where absolutely every single lie that was spoken against your good name will organically fall apart on its own, collapsing under the sheer, undeniable weight of my divine truth. Every gross injustice you silently endured will rapidly turn into a spectacular display of divine justice. Every agonizing, silent battle you fought alone in your bedroom will miraculously become a remarkably loud, public victory. And every heartbreaking betrayal that left you gasping for air will surprisingly lead you directly to an unexpected, massive blessing that will leave you absolutely speechless. I want you to fully comprehend that absolutely nothing you went through was lost. Nothing was ever wasted. Every excruciating moment was meticulously preparing you for this exact triumphant hour. Your incredibly heavy heart has been exhausted because you were constantly carrying massive, toxic burdens that were simply never yours to carry in the first place. You sincerely thought that you were the core problem, but heaven is declaring that you were actually the ultimate solution. You mistakenly thought that they were maliciously leaving you behind, but I, your God, was actually intentionally placing you miles ahead of them. You deeply believed that you were being cruelly punished by the universe, but you were actually being fiercely, aggressively protected by the creator of it. And the very exact moment you fully integrate this profound truth into your spirit, absolutely everything in your life will immediately begin to make perfect, beautiful sense. Your painful isolation was nothing but divine preparation for a massive elevation. Your agonizing emotional pain was simply the necessary catalyst for a breathtaking divine transformation. Your countless, bitter tears were a deeply profound divine cleansing, washing away the toxic residue of their manipulation from your beautiful soul. You were never, for a single fraction of a second, truly alone. I was intimately holding every single shattered, broken piece of your heart in my hands, carefully preparing to completely rebuild it into a far stronger, infinitely brighter, and completely unbreakable form. Now, listen to me with the utmost care, because this is the exact pivotal moment that the entirety of heaven has been eagerly waiting for you to finally hear and accept. Your beautiful, complex life story is absolutely not ending in deep sorrow. Your story is not ending in a thick cloud of confusion. Your story is absolutely not ending in unfair punishment or bitter isolation. Something incredibly powerful, something massively generation-changing is being permanently unlocked in your life right this very second. Something you have desperately prayed for, through endless tears and broken sobs, is finally about to physically arrive at your doorstep. The specific, monumental breakthrough that was artificially delayed by the enemy is being aggressively released from the heavenly realms right now. My warrior angels are actively stepping into your earthly situation with an intense, unprecedented urgency. They are violently clearing your physical and spiritual path. They are permanently shattering heavy spiritual chains of bondage. They are meticulously wiping away the dark, toxic residue of your past pain. They are completely rewriting the spiritual frequency and energy around your entire future. They are aggressively preparing the stage for your ultimate, undeniable breakthrough. I am commanding you to realize that you are completely safe. You are heavily, divinely protected. Rest assured in your spirit that absolutely nothing will go wrong with your destiny. This is your ultimate moment of profound divine reassurance. Absolutely everything that made you cry, everything that made you ruthlessly question your own sanity and worth, and everything that viciously broke your spirit is rapidly transmuting into brilliant light, overwhelming favor, and unimaginable blessings. You are confidently stepping into a brand new, glorious chapter where you will no longer be unfairly punished for your beautiful innocence, but instead, you will be massively, overwhelmingly rewarded for your quiet, dignified endurance. The entire kingdom of heaven is incredibly proud of you for gracefully surviving the exact trauma that was specifically engineered to completely destroy you. Heaven is pouring out massive blessings upon your life for blindly trusting my unseen hand even when you felt completely and utterly alone in the dark. Heaven is drastically strengthening your physical body and your weary mind for the breathtaking miracles that are coming next. My precious, chosen child, the agonizing punishment is permanently ending right now. The overflowing, uncontainable blessings are officially beginning. I am parting the turbulent Red Sea of your current circumstances. I am permanently, publicly clearing your good name. I am fully restoring what was maliciously stolen by the enemy. I am deeply healing what was carelessly broken by those who could not love you properly. I am aggressively strengthening what was temporarily weakened, and I am actively lifting you far higher than the very people who threw heavy stones of judgment at you. You are boldly stepping into a magnificent, untouchable season where deep, unshakable peace will permanently replace your agonizing pain, where crystal clear clarity will completely replace your mental confusion, where radiant, infectious joy will entirely replace your heavy sorrow, and where absolute, undeniable justice will permanently replace the cruel injustice you suffered. The wicked individuals who maliciously tried to block this massive blessing from you will be forced to sit back and watch your spectacular elevation from a very uncomfortable, distant place. They will hear the loud, undeniable rumors of your sudden, explosive success. They will be forced to see the glaring, undeniable evidence of my heavy favor resting brightly upon your entire life, and they will be utterly, intensely tormented by the harsh, inescapable knowledge that their own wicked actions actually massively accelerated your divine promotion. They specifically meant it for your absolute destruction, but I have masterfully, beautifully woven that dark deceit into the very foundational bedrock of your greatest, most triumphant victory. You absolutely do not need to seek revenge. You do not need to send them an angry message, write a hateful post, or try to publicly expose their pathetic lies to the world. Your overwhelming, undeniable, and unapologetic success is the absolute loudest, most devastating revenge you could ever possibly achieve. My divine vindication is infinitely sweeter, far more complete, and eternally more permanent than anything you could ever orchestrate on your own limited human strength. I am currently setting a beautiful, overflowing, magnificent table of abundance before you right in the absolute center of your enemies, and they will absolutely not be able to touch a single, solitary crumb of your blessing. They will only be able to watch in bitter silence as you joyfully feast on my endless, overflowing goodness and grace. My beloved, precious child, as we gently, beautifully close this sacred, prophetic transmission, I want to leave a permanent, unbreakable seal of divine protection, overwhelming peace, and miraculous favor upon your weary spirit. I want you to physically stretch out your hands right now, exactly where you are sitting or standing, as a powerful, physical, prophetic sign that you are fully receiving this final, monumental impartation directly from the throne room of grace. I violently, aggressively rebuke every dark, lingering spirit of anxiety, depression, unworthiness, false guilt, and mental confusion that has tried to permanently attach itself to your beautiful mind, and I command it to permanently flee into the dark abyss, never, ever to return to you, your mind, or your household again. I powerfully decree and declare that the massive, abundant windows of heaven are being violently torn open over your life today, pouring out a massive financial, emotional, and spiritual blessing so incredibly large that you will simply not have enough physical room to store it. I command every single delayed blessing, every stolen opportunity, every blocked relationship, and every intercepted financial miracle to be immediately, forcefully released from the filthy, greedy grip of the enemy and aggressively redirected directly into your physical hands and your bank accounts. I completely release a heavy, tangible, warm, and comforting blanket of divine peace over your mind, your shattered nervous system, and your exhausted physical body. You are entirely, unconditionally forgiven, fiercely, heavily protected, and overwhelmingly, eternally loved by the sovereign creator of the entire universe. The incredibly painful wait is finally over. The heavy, dark season of confusion and punishment is permanently dead. The glorious, undeniable manifestation of your true, radiant destiny is officially here. If you fully receive this powerful word, if you deeply believe that your innocence is your greatest armor and your future is magnificently blessed beyond measure, I want you to passionately declare it right now with absolute, unshakable boldness. Step fully into your divine power, boldly claim your magnificent heavenly inheritance, and type Amen in the comments below to permanently seal this incredible miracle in your life forever.